Hello, my viewers. Welcome back to another episode of the Arsenal Live. In today's video, we're talking about should the Steelers draft a quarterback in the draft? My opinion on that is I've been seeing a lot of stuff. They say like the Steelers was trying to. They said like it was rumors that the Steelers would trade up if their preferred quarterback falls to number 10. I was thinking like, I wouldn't go that route of drafting a quarterback in the draft. I would prefer us to like build around like. We may take a linebacker, a defensive tackle, and maybe you have to take a safety if you can't get a safety, can't get Edmonds back or get Matthew or anything. But I don't believe we should draft a what's in their quarterback because it wouldn't like the quarterback you draft is not going to be ready day one. Like I think that maybe the most NFL ready quarterback out of all of the draft picks maybe is Kenny Pickett because you can see about his experience. He was playing in college for a long time. But it's also like a double-edged sword for him. Like, okay, he had the experience of playing, but why was he at college so long? Why was he there for so long? And you look at his numbers. Like he only had one great season, which was last year, and then the other season was like all right. He wasn't really like he's not really like nothing like crazy. And he got potential, of course, but I feel like he got to go to the right situation. He got to be on a team that has everything in play, kind of like how Mac Jones went to the Patriots, kind of like that type of stuff. Like everything got to be in play, and like he had to have the stuff in place, like to make him like to help him succeed. Like I feel like he had to be like one of those type of teams. And Malik Willis got the highest potential out of all the quarterbacks. He had the highest potential out of all the quarterbacks because he's a dual threat. You know, nowadays the NFL is kind of adjusting to that dual threat style. And they have quarterbacks who can run and pass the ball, do these RPOs, schemes, and all this type of stuff, and like make the offense a little easier and stuff, and make it better. Like with like the defenders have to worry about quarterback keeping the ball. He have an option to throw. He have an option to hand it off to the running back. So you got a lot of different options, but I don't feel like he'd be a day one starter. Like he'd be like a guy you may have to like tone him up and like have to like maybe like work with him to get him to that position to be like day one, like to be a starter for your team or your franchise. I feel like they got to be in the right position because like if they get drafted by one of those teams that like down and dirty, like no offense to Detroit Lions, but like the Detroit Lions, they're not going to be good there. They're going to look terrible. Like they're not going to be good because I don't see them as like. I don't see them as day one ready starters. Like if they was in last year's draft, they would not be first round. You know, compared to the other quarterbacks, they would probably be maybe like second round, and some of them maybe early third round. So like, yeah, look at it like that. So you don't want to talk yourself into drafting a quarterback just because you think you have to. Like, I'd rather for us to just build the defense up, build the offense up. So and then run with Mr. Trubisky because Mr. Trubisky. We know what he's going to do. Like, those quarterbacks you draft are not going to be that Mr. Trubisky this year to start. So there's no point in wasting the draft pick. No, we wouldn't be wasting the draft pick, but there's no point in, like, using the draft pick when you can, like, go out and get something else. Like, I can go out and get a linebacker who I know is going to play this year. Some quarterbacks not going to play this year. They might not play this year. They might play maybe the last game of the season or maybe later in the season. Something happened, an injury happened, but you don't expect that to happen too often. But they're not going to play this year. So I'd rather for us to build the team up and work our way into, like, like the future. We have the young defense going to be around for a while. We have the young offense with the guys like I think nobody over 27. Mr. Trubisky turned 28 I think before the season starts, so he'd be the oldest person on the offense, which is not really that old, of course, in football terms. So like you really like building a young team, so you might as well just roll with the team you got because you know the guys they're gonna bring. You don't know what the draft pick's gonna bring, so I'd rather for us to just roll with that and not draft anybody. But it's some sleepers in the draft. Like we want to draft somebody later rounds, like a Carson Strong, Bailey Zappi. Riddler won't be. I don't know if he'll fall to like second round or something like that. He may go in first round, but if you gotta take a guy in the second round like that, I wouldn't mind that. But I prefer us to just build the team up and just wait till next year. You don't have to force yourself to draft a quarterback this year because it's not really all that. But Malik Willis, he has a high potential, like I said earlier, but his level of competition, like you look at the games he played, like Liberty. They're not most of those players. No offense to those guys, they're not getting drafted. Those guys are not getting drafted. And when he played against high competitions, he didn't look so good. He didn't look too good at all. Like he played against Ole Miss, he didn't look good. And he played against like I didn't watch any of his games live. I just watched them on YouTube because I didn't watch the Liberty game. I don't know you even go to watch the Liberty game. Maybe the ESPN like what 2 or something. I don't know. I have no idea. But like, he has potential because you can see the potential there because the arm strength and his athleticism, but it'd be like you have to work to it. You got to work to it, and I'd rather for us to just go ahead and build the team up instead of doing that. And yeah, that's really all I got. We should just draft maybe a linebacker, maybe Lloyd, or maybe Davis, the defensive tackle from Georgia, or find a receiver. We can draft a receiver. or something. But we got to draft. We should just maybe build a team up and then we're our quarterback down the line. Because Mr. Trubisky might have a great year. He might throw 28 touchdowns for just 9 or 10 interceptions, and he might have 5 rushing touchdowns and lead us to the playoffs to 11-6 record. You'd be like, okay, I can just roll Mr. Trubisky again, and Mr. Trubisky can be our guy for the next 4 or 5 years. But if you draft a quarterback, you kind of wasting the pick, but you just like may miss on somebody else who can potentially be great for you. The first day game of the season, who can potentially be playing, like instead of having a guy on the bench, wasting a first round pick on the bench, on a guy who's gonna be sitting on the bench the whole year and not really like playing. But I'm not the GM, so the GM gonna do what he do. But if I was GM, I wouldn't draft a quarterback first round. I would just wait. Maybe if I see a guy I like in the later rounds, I might take him. But I'll just wait and see how things play out. But leave in the comment section what you guys would do. Would you guys draft a quarterback in the first round? Would you guys not trade up for a quarterback? Just leave what you guys would do. But I'll see you guys when I see you. Peace.